I'm not going to play a yes-no game with you, but I will answer the question. Maintain their composure. This isn't a circus. This is a hearing. I find it interesting she keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman, did you?
None.
Representative Zoe Lofgren presented emails showing Epstein discussing a Ukrainian girl with Steve Tisch and asking a simple question. Is this credible evidence warranting investigation? Attorney General Bondi refused to answer yes or no. When Lofgren revealed that 1,000 FBI agents redacted Trump's name from files and only 4 computers exist for 435 members to review documents, Bondi responded by personally attacking Lofgren about campaign donations. Chaos erupted.
I want to briefly direct your attention to 2 documents I'm hoping we will put up on the screen. In the first, an individual emails Jeffrey Epstein asking whether a woman identified as M was pro or civilian, and Epstein responds that she was a civilian, Russian, and fun. In the second email, Epstein writes to Steve Tisch about a Ukrainian girl, noting that she was, quote, a little freaked out by the age difference and stating that he would try to convince her not to return to Ukraine. He then instructs Mr. Tisch to call him, adding, "I don't like records of these conversations." So I'd like to ask a straightforward question that really is either a yes or no answer. Do these emails constitute credible evidence, not proof, but credible evidence warning further investigation into whether Steve Tisch was involved in Epstein's criminal conduct? Do you think yes or no?
I'm not going to play a yes-no game with you, but I will answer the question to the best of my ability. As I said, we will look and investigate any case involving any victim. I'm not familiar, there were 3 million pages, of course, with that email, but of course, we will look into anything. The documents have been released, 3 million. The redacted versions, we left them open for all of you to come view. Have you? I believe you view them. If not, will you have some copies?
I'd like to.
But could I finish, please? I'm not being rude. Please.
I only have 5 minutes.
No, yeah, and I only have 30 seconds based on your filibuster.
Well, you didn't give a yes or no answer, so let me just go further. Director Patel testified in this committee room that there was no credible information indicating that Epstein trafficked victims to anyone else. And glancing at the documents, that proves that's not the case. In July, your department issued a memo stating that it had conducted an exhaustive review of the Epstein files and concluded that no additional individuals would be charged. So I did go over to the Department of Justice yesterday. I would note that 400 and all our 35 members are in the House, and there's 4 computers. So it would take many months to actually have the time. I only had a few hours. I think the transparency argument is really kind of a sham because it's not really possible.
Whoa. Did you have to wait to get a computer?
It is not possible to really go in. I did, however, see a U.S. attorney information for the Southern District of New York indicating that there were additional survivors and probable co-conspirators. Other members of Congress have uncovered likely co-conspirators whose names were blocked out. Now, the Epstein File Transparency Act, which all but one member of this House voted for and the president signed, requires the department to release everything except that it needs to be redacted to protect the victims or an ongoing prosecution, which apparently there is none from the testimony we have received. I am concerned that this act has not been fully complied with. When Director Patel came to the committee, he admitted that up to 1,000 FBI agents had gone through the files and redacted President Trump's name from them. And it's pretty clear that what has been transmitted from the FBI continues to redact President Trump's name, even though he is mentioned, thousands of times in these files. So I think the credibility of the department in terms of complying with the act has been damaged. And I think the department's credibility has been damaged in other ways. I think we all saw the horrible video of American citizens being killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis. And I think how the department has handled these cases raises a lot of doubt about the department. State and local police in Minnesota got a court order to get access to the crime scene to be sure evidence would be properly preserved by federal agents. But they took the agents defied the court order, and in a departure from general policy, the DOJ is not collaborating with state and local law enforcement on these homicides. So I really think that is a disgraceful approach to the homicides of American citizens, and really does nothing to bring credit to your department. And Mr. Chairman, I would yield back.
Gentlelady yields back.
May I answer?
Attorney General can respond.
I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. And if they could maintain their composure, this isn't a circus, this is a hearing. I find it interesting she keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman, did you? None. And nor did
Mr.
she
Chairman,
post
regular
anything.
order, please.
She
Regular
posted
order.
nothing on her X account,
Gentlelady.
on her Twitter account during the Biden years.
Gentlelady.
And yet now,
There
all
was
of
no
a sudden,
question
she's
asked.
going after
Committee will be in
Point of
order.
order. There was no
Committee will be
question
in
on
order.
the Attorney General. She doesn't just get to
Committee will be in order.
I have a point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Committee will be in order.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady can state her point of order.
When a witness attacks,
Not a valid point of order. You got to state.
She hasn't completed her point of order yet. Please let her speak, Mr. Chairman. Let's have some regular order here.
Regular order is you got to state the rule. And she's
I am
gonna do it.
trying to make a point of order that the witness,
And what rule are you referring to?
without responding to a question, has attacked me personally. I think it's pathetic that she can't answer the questions and
First
instead
time
is
that
attacking
is not even close
members
to a
of the
point of order.
This confrontation between Representative Zoe Lofgren and Attorney General Pam Bondi highlighted serious tensions over transparency, accountability, and the Department of Justice's handling of Epstein-related evidence. The exchange revealed repeated refusals to provide direct answers, large-scale redactions involving President Trump, and a shift toward personal attacks when detailed questions were raised. Lofgren's presentation of specific Epstein emails was central to her line of questioning. The first email asked whether a woman identified as M was pro or civilian, with Epstein replying that she was a civilian, Russian, and fun. The second referenced a Ukrainian girl who was a little freaked out by the age difference, with Epstein stating he would try to convince her not to return to Ukraine, and adding, "I don't like records of these conversations." While not proof, Lofgren framed these messages as documentation that reasonably raised concerns and warranted further scrutiny. Her question was narrowly focused: whether these emails constituted credible evidence, not proof, justifying further investigation into whether Steve Tisch was involved in Epstein's criminal conduct. This was a low bar, centered on investigative standards rather than conclusions of guilt. Bondi declined to answer yes or no, instead offering general statements about DOJ investigating any case involving victims. This response avoided engaging with the specific evidence presented. Lofgren's reference to Bondi's filibuster reflected a broader procedural pattern. Extended, non-responsive answers consumed limited questioning time, making follow-up difficult. This transformed the hearing from a substantive review into a procedural standoff, limiting meaningful oversight. Document access became another major point of contention. Lofgren described traveling to DOJ to review files and finding only 4 computers available for 435 members of Congress. She explained that, at this pace, it would take months for members to review materials. Her conclusion that the department's transparency claims were really kind of a sham suggested that access was being provided in a way that was technically compliant but practically ineffective. The most consequential issue involved redactions related to President Trump. Lofgren stated that Director Patel informed the committee that up to 1,000 FBI agents had reviewed Epstein files and redacted Trump's name, even though Trump was mentioned thousands of times. The scale of this effort indicated that redaction was treated as a major institutional priority. Under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, redactions are meant to protect victims or ongoing prosecutions, not to shield politically powerful individuals. Lofgren's account suggested a coordinated effort that raised concerns about selective transparency. She also broadened her critique to DOJ credibility more generally, referencing the Minneapolis YCE killings and the department's refusal to cooperate with state and local law enforcement, despite a court order seeking access to preserve evidence. This supported her argument that DOJ appeared more focused on protecting federal agencies than ensuring full accountability when American citizens were killed. As the exchange intensified, Bondi shifted from addressing the substance of the allegations to personal attacks, accusing Lofgren of targeting President Trump and questioning her political connections. This move away from evidence-based responses toward personal criticism suggested an inability or unwillingness to defend departmental actions directly. Chairman Jim Jordan's management of the exchange further shaped its tone. While emphasizing decorum, he allowed Bondi's personal remarks to continue and limited Lofgren's ability to fully press her objections. This reinforced the perception that administration officials were being shielded from sustained scrutiny. Lofgren's closing comment, that it was pathetic to respond with attacks rather than answers, summarized the dynamic. Faced with documented emails, large-scale redactions, and practical barriers to congressional review, DOJ offered deflection instead of clear explanations. The exchange left unresolved questions not only about Epstein-related accountability, but also about whether the Department of Justice is operating with the level of transparency and independence required to maintain public trust.